Hello everybody, I'm TychoCelchuuu and welcome to a Company of Heroes 2 Noobcast. I realize I've been wrongly describing the series. I keep saying it's where I cast matches where people who are bad enough to lose to me, I go over those. But that's not actually what the Noobcast has to be. If you send me your Noobcast replays, if you're a noob and you're like, where did I screw up? I will cast those as part of the Noobcast series. That's the wonderful thing about it. This guy is building a special rifle command really far away, so that's kind of newbie. He is White Earl, but he is not our newbie of the match. Our newbie of the match is Mike C_81, playing as the Oster, and we are on Pripyat, the map that sucks, and we're good to go. So Mike C requested that somebody point out all the things that he's doing wrong because he wants to know what he's doing wrong. So I'm not 100% sure he's doing it wrong, but when you're running through this thing anyways, or when you're almost running through it, I feel like maybe you should just cap it and then head down over here to get the fuel, and then your second unit can come here, or you can just run up to that. And we have a Grenadier out first from tier 0, so I think probably the right choice there. You want at least 1 or 2 Grenadier squads usually before you get an MG42, especially if you're a newbie, because as a newbie you're not going to really know quite how to work the MG42 quite as well as you might want to. So when you get fancy with the MG42 and you get really good at using it, you can get it out as one of your earlier units and set it up where you know your opponent's coming and catch them and force them to retreat. But you have to know where your opponent's going to be coming from and where they're going to with that. And that takes a lot of experience and just learning the game a lot, watching a bunch of shoutcasts if you can't play all the time. If you can play all the time, then just pay attention where your opponent's going, when are they usually going, and it helps to watch replays sort of after you've played the game because you don't really know what your opponent is doing. If we turn on the Fog of War, Mike C_81 has no idea what his opponent is doing right now, and he's not gonna know for quite a while until he sees him. One of the things you'll be able to do to find out what your opponent is doing is if you check the tactical... Fuck! Good shit! Damn it! Screenshot. I should just rebind that. When you've got the tactical map open, whenever you get to a territory that your opponent's capping, it's got a flash. So see, we got this little flash of red. That lets you know ahead of time, a second or two early, that the opponent's capturing something. For really large territories like this one here, when the opponent's capturing this little thing, you'll be able to see the red flashing all the way up here, for instance. So that's really helpful. And so big mistake, I think, first big mistake of the game by Mike C. He's got 2 units down here idling. What he really needs is somebody capturing this or this so that his resources are all linked up. Before he does that, he's going to be completely cut off from everything on the map and nothing's going to happen. Good job here fighting with these engineers. Could maybe even close in close to them. So combat engineer is going to lose against grenadiers in basically every situation. And so if you close in close, you're going to accelerate the rate at which they lose. Because when units are closer to each other, they're going to be more accurate. And so you're just going to get more hits in to them and you're going to kill them faster. And so Mike C, I think, I don't know why he's pulling back. Getting into cover or something? That's too far to shoot. So if you're going to pull back from these people, then without shooting, then if you aren't planning on killing them, you might as well go up here and capture some stuff. If you are planning on killing them, then don't move back where you can't hit them. Opponent does a stupid thing and moves on in and gets shot, so that's good. Mike C, now that he's pushed this off, should move to the north and start capturing stuff because there's no need to hang around at... So either move to the north or move to this munitions point right here. There's no reason to hang around for quite a while in the middle. These 2 grenadiers are doing absolutely nothing, and even if he wants to defend this, it's not worth defending. It's a victory point in the middle. You're not going to get anything from it. So your priority in the early game should be securing as much of the map as conceivably possible, cutting off your opponent, and doing damage to them, of course, and forcing them off and keeping them from capturing the map. So early off, we have the scout car by White Earl, a very popular strategy by the Soviets, getting these things early. In terms of fighting them off as the Oster, oh wow, we're up to 5 grenadiers. That's too many. Don't build that many. Once you go up to 2 or 3, get yourself a machine gun, and from there, the world is your oyster, but 5 is way, way too many. We have 62 munitions, so if you notice the fire of the Panzerfaust, that's a rifle grenade. The fire of the Panzerfaust is only 25, so 2 Panzerfaust is typically enough to bring a scout car down to either death or at a point where you can kill it. We have conscripts up really close. They're doing some stupid running around stuff, but now they're going to probably win this fight if they're lucky. I don't know. I guess it's worth keeping these grenadiers here, but I would think about... I don't know. I guess you don't have to retreat yet. Opponent doing sort of a silly thing, sticking around at this VP. Man, just a lot of grenadiers from Mike C. So too many grenadiers. Spending his fuel, taking up to tier 2, or tier 1, sorry. Gotta get used to that. And good job forcing these people off. Still, I think, paying a bit too much attention to the VPs. These people down capping this could go up and capture this point. Standard territory points do matter because they'll give you 5 munitions and 3 fuel, and that's going to be helpful. Should also think about trying to protect his munitions with this Grenadier squad, and maybe even this Pioneer squad, because the more munitions he has, the more he's going to be able to faust these scout cars as they come out. And you want an uninterrupted supply of munitions as much as you can for the Auster, because they tend to be pretty starved for munitions as the game goes on. And so I'm not sure buying an LMG 42 for these people is the best use of munitions. This is 60 munitions, a significant amount. For that, you could fire 2 Panzerfausts and have enough left over to get an ice cream cone to give to Hitler, and Hitler's be like, I am now your friend and I will not execute you. So the LMG 42 has to be stationary to fire. It does good damage and actually does really good against that scout car, and that plus the Panzerfaust finishes it off. Early in the game, I think you're going to want to be capturing so many points and staying so mobile that the LMG 42 is not going to be as tremendous as it could, and really the bigger issue is that it's going to cost a lot of munitions. Mike C should be moving forward very, very slightly to be capturing these munitions back. He needs that. And now that he knows he's getting flamed, because he saw these conscripts disengage his grenadiers, he should be getting ready for this by either moving in with these people over here and these people over here to catch them in a pincer movement and force these people to move out of their green cover to engage, or moving in this direction so he can link up with these grenadiers who definitely should not be idle. So Mike C just chose a doctrine, which means he was clicking on his command points more than he was clicking on his units. The thing is, every little thing adds up, and whenever you're spending actions per minute clicking on your doctrines or whatever when you unlock them, because the big flashy thing's annoying you, that's time not spent babysitting your units. And in this case, Mike C was paying for it, because this Grenadier squad not doing anything useful at all. You need to keep all your units moving. I know it's hard, but look, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you almost start with that many SCVs in StarCraft, okay? So if you can't handle 7 units, you're not going to find a real-time strategy game with smaller demands, alright? There's very few units that you're going to have to babysit and come to heroes. So Mike C doing fairly well, pinning the opponent sort of in his base. He could be doing much, much better though now. He's been having his units idle for quite a while and hasn't been prioritizing capping as much as I think he ought to. If you're not going to prioritize capturing the map, which is usually it's not my preference. I like to think about the early game and maybe even the early mid-game, and by the way, he's floating a lot of stuff, so we'll talk about that in a sec. I like to think about the early game and the early mid-game as having 2 sort of goals that you can focus on. One is capturing the map. You always want as much of the map as possible, and it's great that he got this cut off at some point, or maybe this guy never even capped it. You want as much of the map as possible, and you want to inflict as much damage as possible on your opponent. And so if we break down these 2 objectives, grenade going in, boom, nice hit. If we break down these 2 objectives, to get as much of the map as possible, 1, you want to spread out, get your units everywhere. 2, you want to force your opponent off of the map. Oh, Molotov coming in, so hopefully he's going to notice that. You can hear your opponent throwing grenades because your units typically, or maybe even always, are going to say something like, grenade, or they're throwing a grenade, or we're about to get grenaded, or wake the fuck up and move us, we're going to get hit by a grenade, or something like that. So pay attention to those audio cues. If you play while listening to music, hopefully listen to quiet music or classical music or heavy metal that somehow has the right lines synced to the game. So like when the heavy metal goes, you need to move from the grenade, or something, that has to sync up perfectly when they're throwing the grenade. That's very unlikely, so I wouldn't listen to heavy metal while you're playing Company Heroes 2 at all. We have a sniper by the Soviets. That's interesting, so we'll talk about trying to fight the sniper. So as I was saying, if you're prioritizing capturing in the early mid game, you want to spread your units out and also force your opponent off whenever possible to keep them from capturing points, because the more they capture points, the harder it is for you to capture points. The other thing to prioritize is getting damage in on the enemy units, and for that you want to cluster your units in groups and sort of overwhelm the enemy. We have dual building, support army corps and a bunker. The bunker is probably going to be for healing up, and that might not be the best use of his grenadiers right now. They could probably be better off out on the field. So in terms of fighting snipers, like I said we would, here's the trick: charge them. Actually, well, hopefully they'll kill somebody in a sec so I can show you the other trick. Yeah, this guy's totally misusing them. Okay, well, normally when you kill a sniper, or when a sniper kills you, you'll get a little notification over here on the left. It says unit sniped. Click that. Just keep clicking on it. Every time you click on it, oh wow, that's a weird fight. Every time you click on it, it's going to jump to the sniper. So just like other notifications, jump to whatever made the notification. Clicking on the unit snipe will take you to the sniper. So that's how you know where the sniper is. Once you know where the sniper is, charge at them. Just run straight at the sniper. That's all it takes. Your units will do the rest. Run at them and let God sort it out is basically how it works. Mike C. retreating with this low health Grenadier squad, I think that's a bad idea. He knows there's this low health conscript squad up there. So these guys were going to do one of two things. They're going to retreat or they're going to try and capture stuff. Either way, a 4-man hurt Grenadier squad is going to be able to kill them, or it's not going to even have to fight them in the first place, right? Because they retreat. If they retreat, you can capture these 3 points sort of without getting even attacked. If they didn't retreat, you can kill those people and then maybe even capture the 3 points. So I understand wanting to move back and heal up at your base, but given that you have some pretty good intelligence about what the enemy has up here, namely this conscript squad that threw a Molotov at your 1-man squad and then ran off, given that you know that, that's what I would do. So he's rushing the mortar, but should definitely be focus firing this 1-man conscript squad. Wiping out a squad is something super duper important. If you can ever wipe out a squad, that's going to be good to go. Grenade goes in on the mortar, wipes out the squad. This is looking really good for Mike C. I'm not sure why he wanted me to do a Noobcast. It looks like he's got this in the bag. Conscript is going down again. If he kills this conscript squad, which he's totally going to do, actually they're throwing a Molotov. That could get ugly. Kill them. Okay, they're dead. So he needs to move away from that. Getting some good damage in on this mortar. Surprise, surprise. And just retreats. Okay, whatever. Don't need to stick around. He can get the VP, but he can do that later. So I definitely recrew this mortar and then retreat. You can take the mortar and move it up here and then capture this point for a sec, then retreat with the mortar. But totally take free stuff whenever you can. It's worth it to spend the time sticking 3 Grenadiers on that thing. And now we have an Austrian out. It's going to own this scout car. That scout car is dead. The Soviets did OP this fuel, so you think they're probably teching. They have only tier 1 and tier 2 right now, though, so they're far from having anything that can deal with the Austrian except for the AT gun. Wipes out another squad. Nothing's wrong with, well, no, Mike C's making a lot of mistakes, but generally he's winning. That's good. So he's gone Jaeger Infantry Doctrine. Let's start learning about the doctrines, or the commanders, I'm sorry, is what they're called in Company Heroes 2, because we're going to have to learn those eventually, right? Passive, ambush camouflage, grenadiers, panzer grenadiers, or HMGs, what they mean is and HMGs, relic, learn English, can be upgraded with better camo, concealing them in cover or deep snow. So you upgrade this stuff, and then when you get into, well, basically you can be a sniper. You go into cover, and then you can shoot after cloaking in cover. It's sort of like the Fallschirmjägers from Company Heroes, if you ever played that game, and they also get an ambush bonus when they break it. Jaeger Light Infantry upgrade. Combat Infantry can be upgraded with this package, which adds 2 G43 rifles, includes training and interrogation. So upgrade these guys with the rifles, and they get the rifles. That makes them better damage dealers at long range and mid range and close range also, but best at long range. And then casualty interrogation, you click on sort of a dead guy who's still writhing around on the ground, and you reveal all the enemies on the minimap. That's basically cheating. It's a pretty good map pack, and we have an AT gun set up in this base doing a bombard on these grenadiers for some reason. So he retreats out of there. Should definitely have grabbed this mortar at some point. He's got a lot of infantry here that could just waltz in and take this thing. So some people might recommend when you get your first Ostwind out, run in and squish everybody. That's pretty tempting. Now it's too late. There's 2 AT guns here. I'm not going to tell you one way or another, Mike C, whether you ought to have done that, but keep in mind that's always an option, and could maybe have gotten you the game there. Conscripts oorah away, but I don't think that's going to buy them anything because there's 2 squads here and a grenade. Boom. 1 kill. Not so great. Idle units. This guy should go here. This guy should go here because he can sort of cut across the diagonal and get there later, but the fuel is, you should prioritize the fuel. Anyways, good job moving in close with these grenadiers, anticipating the conscripts running away, and this means he'll probably be able to catch them. What the fuck? That must have been a tripwire laid, possibly accidentally by the conscripts. They can lay little tripwire mines, and those will just light up when you walk over them, and they'll reveal you to the Soviets. Finally took the mortar, so that's good. This is going to be really helpful against these AT guns if he can spot where they are. Interesting choice by the Soviets moving out with this AT gun north. I guess he's worried about the Ostwind. If he wants to catch it, he'll catch it. But you think that you might want these AT guns working in tandem, right? Because that makes it much easier to take out the Ostwind. What do we got? And a tier 4 out from, so we're skipping T-34s for the Soviets, so that's a bad choice if you ask me. T-34s are pretty sweet, but whatever. You get some good stuff out of tier 4 from what I hear. People like the Su-76. It's got this sort of infinite free bombard stuff. With these G43s are going to own up this conscript squad, and these trees are providing admirable cover from this ZIS, but actually now it's bombarding people. So the ZIS is weird. It's got this little bombard ability that you just use, spend some munitions, drop some stuff on these people. As long as they keep moving and get a bit closer, they'll be fine. Possibly even decrew this gun. Good job, Mike C, moving up and being super aggressive. I'm not seeing a ton of huge mistakes. Why'd you say you need a noobcast? You don't need a noobcast. Okay, well, you have too many grenadiers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 grenadiers. At this point, you diversify and you get some panzer grenadiers. But you don't have the thing for them. But you diversify and you get some panzer grenadiers and you get some MG42s. And that's what you do. With MG42s, you can help lock down the map. Those will really help you win some infantry fights. Did he retreat with this squad, I guess, from up there? No reason to retreat that, I think. He could have used that to cap this fuel up here. Don't be scared of keeping low health units on the field. As long as you have a plan for getting them out of there when they need to get out of there. Use them for capping, because capping is something that you don't need to be strong to do. You don't need to be healthy. You just need to be on the field, warm bodies. We have 124. Whoa, just spent all this stuff. He's buying a Panzer IV. So Panzer IV, not the best tank in the world. It's good at everything and better than pretty much every Soviet tank except the heavy ones. Nice dodging this Molotov. But the issue with the Panzer IV is that it's sort of a jack of all trades, master of none. A Panther will just decimate enemy armor. And even the Ostwind can take on the T-34. So the Panzer IV ends up being really good, but expensive. So let's finish learning the doctrine. Tactical movement. All infantry move at the fastest available speed for 20 seconds. Does not affect anti-tank gun squads. So there you go. You click this button if you need people to hoof it. Artillery barrage, go figure. It comes from these funny named Le IG 18 infantry support guns. I don't know. Is he going to kill another squad? That would be interesting. Fog of war. Yes. And now it's time to retreat this guy, because otherwise he'll die. Run, Le Man. Run. You're getting XP. Run. It's going to take the AT gun a while to kill him, but not forever. 2 AT guns. A while to kill him. There we go. Finally out. So, Mike C has a commanding hold on this match. He has a Panzer IV coming out. Upgrade the thingy on the top. The machine gun. Not a bad idea. He might as well do it. All he has to worry about is... it's tough to imagine what the opponent's going to bust out with. An IS-2 or something. Let's learn the final thing in this doctrine. Stuka close air support. This is pretty sweet because it doesn't drop smoke first. It just goes near... Oh wait, no, this isn't the right one. This is the close air support where they do the strafing thing. I think this is the one that's bugged. I don't know. One of them is either bugged or just really bad. It strafes and doesn't kill anything. That might be the Stuka anti-vehicle thing. So this is, if this is anything like most of the other strafing runs in this game, it is tremendous. Unlike Company Heroes 1, where a strafing run was like, let's call in a plane and it'll strafe this area and kill a lot of stuff. In Company Heroes 2, it's like, let's call in a plane, it'll strafe the area, it'll come back, it'll strafe the area, it'll come back, it'll strafe the area, and then it comes back and it'll strafe the area. So like, you can kill 4 people's worth of things with one quote-unquote strafing run. Not like your opponent's ever going to be stupid enough to stick around in that, but it's area denial, obviously, after the first one comes in, so that's that is dope shit, I have to say. Where's this mortar that he took? Oh, it's right here. I'm blind. Soviets are... I don't see how they're... I don't see the Soviets coming back from this, unless these AT guns are almost in range of these tanks. He's moving in the Panzer IV, don't know what's up with that. Nice, rams the house, so that's, I guess, the thing. Mike C, you're not a newbie if you know you can ram the house to kill it. And now he's going to collapse this house. It's going to be the second machine gun down in as many seconds. And this is... who's going to die first? The house or the 3 people left, or the 2 people left in the squad? I'm calling the house, actually, because these things are weak. It's not a house. Maybe it's a factory? I don't know what that is. Oh, it's a train station. I think it's a train station. Okay, the machine gun actually dies first, so that's surprising. Panzer IV got itself owned by these AT guns, and now the Austrians probably going to take some shots, but it's going to be too late for the Russians there. Down. Mike C, why? You're not a newbie. Yeah, okay, well, you're not tremendous, but you're better than most people. You have a lot of infantry that aren't doing anything. Look at his manpower income, down to 99. That's some brutal upkeep right there. That's what you get when your opponent's too bad at this game to kill any of your people. At this point, you might even, like sacrifice your grenadiers, move them all into a clump, and then drop artillery on them. You send them up to Valhalla in style. Obviously, I'm not advocating that. I'm just saying it's a thing you could do. No one would get mad at you. Interestingly, the guy running away from that AT gun was stopping the cap, so they count as infantry. Look, here we have an Su-85. So this is one of the few things the Soviets have that can actually use its gun to damage enemy tanks. Has has some trouble against heavier German armor, but against the Panzer IV and the Ostwind, it'll do some real damage. Where's the Pioneers? Okay, finally moving out. He should spend the 40 munitions on tactical movement to get these people up to the front lines, or alternatively retreat his armor, because this Su-85 up here, it is a tank destroyer. It is built to destroy tanks. That's in the name, you might say. So Mike C needs to be careful around here. This little trident symbol symbolizing a broken machine gun on the top, so that's alright. Doesn't really matter. Grenade goes in here, so he's going to want to get out. Shock troop grenades, not so bad. Okay, fine to have these up here. Maybe upgrade camouflage, which costs 30 munitions. You can get it. Hide them behind the boat. They'd be like, surprise, motherfucker! I was behind the boat the entire time. Run, little mortar. How are you going? Yo, get out. You can make it. You can do it. Escape. Look at that guy running. He looks hilarious. He's like, I'm just booking it. I don't have a gun. I'm just like running. Huh. That's really amusing, I think. And I feel like people put on new uniforms when they man weapon crews. That's definitely new in Company Heroes too. In Company Heroes, they would just, like, you man something with airborne troops, they're just gonna be airborne troops manning the thing. Or riflemen or whatever. But this one, it looks like they swap. Grenadiers just standing here getting shot at by the Su-85. They don't give a shit because the Su-85 is not tremendous against infantry and still needs to repair. Oh, he's repairing it. Except, whoop, that's the wrong button on my keyboard. Oh, there. Repair actually is working. It's tough to tell sometimes. Repair is buggy. Sometimes they don't want to repair. So here comes the Su-85 rolling on in. Mike C is maybe going to be able to do some damage to it, especially if you get side hits from these tanks. Can you see it? Oh no, that's true sight for you. Look at that. Magic. Now there's the Su-85 calling in artillery, light artillery barrage. So light artillery barrage is mostly anti-infantry. We'll see it in a sec. Pew, pew, pew. Yeah, that's even a weak-looking artillery. Look at it. It's like tiny, pretty little shells. It's like fireworks. It looks really nice, but this is mostly to scare off infantry and be area denial. You see how often the shells fall. They land. There's a lot of them. Wipes out a shock troop squad. You've had this in the bag for the last like 20 minutes. Well, it's a good Noobcast, not because Mike C is a noob, but because we learned stuff. Hopefully the person who requested the Noobcast is not actually White Earl. That would be embarrassing, but everyone keeps asking for German tips and stuff on my YouTube channel. Okay, I feel like every Noobcast I've ever done has been German tips, but if whatever, here's another one. See, I've been giving German tips the entire game. That's what you wanted. Everyone's like, Tycho only plays Russians, but that's right. So when I do Noobcasts, I only give German tips, whatever. You people don't understand very basic things. Don't run into shock troops. Well, okay, you can run into shock troops. When they have the PPSHs, do not run into shock troops. When they don't, it's fine, but just get in the building. That would be better off. How many? I guess there's only one window here, but I feel like the added resilience of the building is gonna make it worth it. You do become a grenade magnet, though. So how's the Su-85 doing versus these vehicles? It forced them off. They're pretty hurt. It's not going to help the Soviets. They're at, like, no VPs anymore, but whatever. So, I don't know. I said a bunch of stuff earlier in the game about capping and pushing people off and what you should be doing with your units and always keeping them moving and stuff. Definitely, I think a mistake from Mike C not getting machine guns or Panzer Grenadiers at any point in this matchup. He's got the fuel to have tech to that earlier, and finally building a heavy Panzer Corps, which is actually not where you get your infantry from, by the way. If you want to be technical, you want tier 0, -1, 0. You want tier 1 for your infantry, your Panzer Grenadier infantry, rather than your Grenadier infantry, which are tier 0. But whatever. There, German tips. Learn how to play the Nazis and the Ostheer and whatever else people make up this army. And I hope you enjoyed this Noobcast. I'm not sure I really need to keep this going while the last 12 VPs tick down. It's not like this is a normal game that we care about. This is a guy destroying the pink Soviets, and you're fine at the game. I gave you a lot of tips on what to do. So there, go forth and be good at Company of Heroes 2. Maybe we shall meet in the field of battle, and often sometimes it just comes down to get better micro and map awareness and stuff. But we had a lot of tips earlier near the beginning of the match. So I'll see you in the game.